Hi everyone. I'm here today to record another version of sensory breathing, and it's really been evolving as I use it in the clinic and as I apply it to myself. Sensory breathing is about self-acceptance and breathing just as you are, getting to know how you feel and letting your feelings be yours and not doubting. I learned from one of my children's kinder teachers when my daughter was 3 that you're perfect just as you are and you don't need to change for anybody. And my beautiful 3-year-old came home from kinder and I was being some kind of mum that day, and she looked at me and she said, "Corinne says I'm perfect just as I am and I don't need to change for anyone." And I thought it was just the most beautiful thing, and moments like that shape us, and that really shaped me, and I'm pretty sure it really shaped my daughter. I'm always grateful for those words. So sensory breathing involves acceptance and self-knowing and trust and courage and bravery. And I hope you use it to create space in your life, space for just you. Sometimes when people come into clinic for treatment, it feels as if they bring the whole world, everyone they work with, their whole family, their all of their community in with them. And sometimes I ask them to find a space in their heart that's just theirs. I'd like you to do that now before we start. Just find a space in your heart that's yours, just yours. And that space in your heart may have many presentations to you. That space may just be peaceful. It may actually be hectic. It may be huge or small. Or it may have a color. It may have a sound. It may just have a feeling. As you sit in this space, you might have memories popping up, visions. Just find that space. Just in that space, just say, I am. I am. And say to yourself, I am here. I am here now. And if anybody's crowding in on that space at this moment, just ask them to take 10 big steps back and let your heart get really, really big and calm and quiet and accepting and knowing and loving. You can do this breathing lying down or sitting, but we will run through your whole body. I think lying down is preferable if you can find a space that's comfortable. You might want to be nice and warm. Just wriggle your toes for me to start. Just be in your toes. Give them a wriggle, give them a stretch. Stretch up and down. And let them find a beautiful place that's neutral. And breathe. Breathe to your feet. Breathe to your feet. Many people ask me for more. Breathe to your feet. What do you mean breathe to your feet? Do you mean breathe into your feet? Do you mean breathe down to your feet? And I don't have an answer to that. Just breathe to your feet. Breathe to your feet. Explore what it is to breathe to your feet. What do you find there? What do you feel? What do you sense? What do you need to accept? How are you? How are you feeling? And now to your feet. Breathe to your feet. When you feel ready, breathe to your lower legs. And what do you find here in your lower legs? How do you feel here? Is it different to your feet? Is it the same as your feet? Is it what you expected? Is it new? Is it old? Breathe. Find your space, find your time, and find yourself. And if I go faster than you or slower than you, just go with you. Take this breathing technique and make it yours. It's a gift from me to you, and it's yours. Breathe, breathe to those beautiful legs. We're moving to the upper legs. Breathing to the upper legs. How do you feel? What do you find? What have they got to tell you? What have you got to tell them? What do you sense here? Breathe, breathe to those upper legs, to those thighs. Breathe to your pelvis. We're going to visualize your hip joints on the sides of your pelvis. And visualize the coccyx bone or the tailbone at the back of your pelvis. And the pubic bone, the pubis, at the front of your pelvis. And breathe to those beautiful bony points. Hips, tailbone, pubis. How does it feel? What does that time and that focus give you to those beautiful places in your body, those hips, the tailbone, the pubis? So much function, so much knowing, so much of you. Breathe to that pelvis and to all of the organs sitting there in that pelvis, functioning away behind the scenes. Give them space. Breathe to your belly button. Let it move. Your belly button remembers your umbilical cord flowing through it. It remembers the vessels of the umbilical cord that connected you to your placenta. Once the vessels of the umbilical cord are no longer being used for that function, they become structures. They connect very strongly to your liver. Your belly button knows your liver. Breathe to your belly button. Moving your entire abdomen. It's a place of connection to self, to function, to self. To your mum at one point in your life. To your organs now, to you. What do you feel? What do you sense? Who are you? How do you breathe here? Accept it. Don't ask it to change. Observe it. And if it changes spontaneously, allow it. We're moving to the heart. Breathe, breathe into your heart. How do you know your heart? Feel your heart. Put your hands on your heart. Feel your heart beating. It beats all the time for you. Your beautiful heart. Once you know how things feel, what is the world doing? Who is around me? Who loves me? Who supports me? How do I feel about this? Who am I? Oh, how do I feel about me? This is my heart. This is my space. What colors, what senses, what images? Who do you find in this heart? Where do you find yourself in your heart? Who do you love with this heart? Who have you ever loved with this heart? I love with my heart. I love everybody and everything that I have ever loved. If I've loved them briefly or for a really long time, this is where I remember my love for them, no matter where they are now. I have an image or a technique that I use when I'm feeling love in my heart, that every single love I've ever had, I've lit a candle. I have many, many candles burning in my heart for all of my loves that I've had. And they burn so brightly and beautifully. And sometimes Sometimes I want to blow them out. Sometimes I want to. Sometimes that burning candle. Sometimes that's all I have. And sometimes it's painful, and I just would like to forget about that one, that candle, that love that might have hurt. But I keep it burning because it's my love. Love is such a beautiful phenomenon. Love is you standing in the world, feeling something. It's a chemical reaction to the world. It's a hormonal response to the world. You sense something in the world and you have a beautiful hormonal response to your feeling, and we call it love. You do it. Something in the world creates an opportunity. Something in the world is a catalyst for you to have a feeling of love in your body, but you are the person who creates the love. It's your ability to love that creates this feeling in your body. Hold the power of that, the power of you loving. It's how you love. It's how you continue to love. That's how you'll always love. I light candles. I wonder what you do. Tell me what you do. Let me know. I'm so interested in this, how we love. We have loving kindness that we can practice in our heart, and my favorite loving kindness is, may your heart flower. May your heart flower. What would your heart flower be? A daisy, a daffodil, a rose, a lotus, a buttercup, a tulip. May your heart flower. May you know your heart. May you know what it is to love. We're moving to the hands. Breathe to your hands and move your hands. Stretch your hands. Clench your hands. Wriggle your hands. And when you're ready, find stillness and peace in your hands. These hands in utero, these hands were moving around. They held your umbilical cord sometimes. They held you. They moved through the fluid. They bumped into your placenta. They explored. The blood supply from your heart to your hands is quite unimpeded. The blood supply must move from your heart through the top of your chest and shoulders and down your arms to your hands. Compared to your feet, it doesn't have so far to travel to your hands, these hands that take the love from your heart and put it into the world in all the things you do, all the doing things. As you grew older and you started to look at your body as a little baby, you noticed your hands and they were wondrous. And you've used your hands in the world to do many, many things. Be grateful to your hands. Breathe to your hands. Find peace and anything else you find there. Accept it. It's your feeling, your experience. Breathe to your throat. You might swallow, sing when people sing to the throat. It sounds so beautiful. Even if they think they can't sing, they make beautiful sounds in their throat. People cry often. People cry in the treatment room. Babies cry in the treatment room. We cry in our throat. The sound comes out, comes from our lungs and out into the world from our throat. And it's okay. It's actually just so beautiful. It's so good for your biology to cry. I love watching a baby cry. I challenge the baby to cry. The biggest cry they can. Just cry, come on. You've got more than that. Show me the cry, come on. That moment of huge crying. I've cried before. I've cried many times. And it's always perfect. And I've laughed and I've sung. I've said things to people in love, and I've said things to people in other emotions, and at the time, that's what I did, and it's okay. It's okay. It's all in the past. This is now. Find your throat, breathe. Let it be open or closed. Let it be at ease or tense. It doesn't matter at all. It's your throat. Move to your brain and your mind. Breathe. Breathe to your brain. The brain and the spinal cord float in the most perfect liquid cerebrospinal fluid, supported by membranes that wrap around your brain and spinal cord and connect it to the bones around it. The circulation is just there on that membrane. We have our brain fluid and our heart fluid so close together in that membrane that wraps around your brain and spinal cord. It's a very interesting piece of you. It's a very sensory and sensitive structure. It supports your brain. It's always supported your brain. The very start of you in utero was the middle of your spinal cord and brain. You grew from that place, the notochord. It's your midline. You have your brain and your spinal cord and the fluid. The fluid's on the inside as well. The inside of your brain and spinal cord has beautiful ventricles and a spinal canal full of fluid. And the fluid is through your mind, brain, spinal cord, and around your mind, brain, spinal cord. I know how big your brain and spinal cord is. How big is your mind? And the membranes supporting your brain and spinal cord, supporting the fluid, supporting you. And then the vessels, the connection between your blood vessels and your lymphatic system. You don't know enough about that yet. It's all in here. It's in your brain too, your lymphatic system. But the heart is sitting there in those vessels just outside the membranes of your brain and spinal cord. Your heart to brain to mind connection, it's right there. The membrane gathers so much information from the world about what's going on. The mind, the brain, it's so interested in what's going on. The fluid supports how you respond to what's going on. Breathe to your brain and spinal cord. Breathe. Right now, what's going on is you breathing to your brain, to your spinal cord, letting the membranes relax so that the space between your brain and spinal cord and the fluid is open to the blood vessels, to your heart, to the rest of your body. You're completely nurtured by the brain fluid and the heart fluid, the circulatory fluid. It's all just sitting there. As you breathe to your brain now, I'd like you to feel this beautiful nurturing fluid of the brain perfuse out into your entire head, through your scalp and down your face, through your sinuses, to your jaw, to your ears, the back of your head, to your neck, through your throat, to your shoulder blades, your clavicles, your collarbones, your lungs, your shoulders. Breathe to the shoulders and down the arms, this beautiful perfusion of this fluid from your brain, down the arms to your hands, to your fingers, to your fingertips. From your brain down to your chest, lungs, through that beautiful heart of yours. How does your heart feel now? To your diaphragm. Breathe, breathe. To your organs in your belly. To your belly button. Your spine. To your pelvis. Revisit those bones, the hips, the tailbone, the pubis. Revisit your pelvis. Perfusion of this fluid from your brain all the way down to your tailbone, through the spinal canal, through your spine and out, perfusing out to your pelvis and down your legs, all the way down your legs, through your knees, lower legs, ankles, feet, to your toes, to the very tip of your toes, and do whatever you feel with your toes, meet your toes. We're back where we started. Thank you for sharing this experience with me. Take as long as you need. Stay here as long as you'd like. Breathing. It's been such an honor to share this with you today. Thank you.